All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 5, Episode 39.
This
The
is
finale.
This is the finale of Part 5. This is the end of an era for our channel, and I'm excited, y'all. Like this is an exciting time.
It's like a friend is dying.
No, I get it, but the idea is then we'll be with everyone else, like waiting for Part 6,
land.
you know? And then like we'll be able to talk about like the anime like full like, you know, experience and just what it's been like thus far, and
like when we started JoJo's, like that was a really long time ago.
2.5 years ago. Well, no, yeah, around 2.5
somewhere
years
around
ago.
there. Yeah, like our channel was like almost just started at that point. Like so,
yeah, it's a thing.
This is an end of an era.
And we're in a unique set of kind of story beats with regards to JoJo's, because our primary antagonist, our villain, Diavolo, has been thoroughly defeated.
Yep.
And yet, we're in this weird kind of backstory, flashback, maybe kind of timey-wimey something going on here. And we're focusing on some aspect of the squad, you know, our squad, Bruno's squad, all together,
all alive, and they're working on something. So is this just a random stand encounter that has some thematic tie-ins to the way things go over the course of the story?
Or... Right. Because it feels like this is like episode 0 then.
Right.
Or is there something more going on here? But like either way, this is the final episode, and y'all, it's happening. So stick around to the end of the discussion to find out what show we're watching next after this, as voted by the Patreons. And yeah, so y'all, without further ado, let's get into this now. I know sadame ni sae ganki o hirugaesu gangsta. Osereyo kanji wo kakukesu rage akuma ni shimoku to shikata hikara 往復とは週末か姫らうこは言いかかったたそう捨てて挑むものステイゴーそうさ目には目を裏切り者にはレクイエモワウワウ
Feels even more wrong to have this here when he's been so totally defeated.
Yep.
Or has he?
No, he always is being defeated, Jacob.
Yeah, for all time.
For all
forever.
time,
yeah.
Oh!
I mean, it's an excuse to have this. So,
yeah. Oh, with the hair and everything.
Yeah, the hair makes him look so much like Dio.
Sekai ni tachimukau, don't care. Chihima do iranai sa karada horobiro toki. Hiraori mo kei hateru. Hell no! Hajimari no golden wind. Oh. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Meanwhile,
sleeping slaves. Oh, yeah.
What are those on his back? Oh, it's part of his shirt, I guess.
But, yeah.
警察にこんなこと追ってだおめえはギャングかどこかの組織に属しているのか後で調べればわかることだがな
That's true
いや僕はただの彫刻家だこの能力のことならいつしか子供の頃から
Okay, it's just a naturally occurring thing.
Oh. Okay. His life depends. Whoa. Oh crap. Was it because he attacked him? I don't know. He had to set the from stone. Yep, exactly. Ah. Whoa. No way. Whoa. Okay. Rolling Stones. Of course. How did I not see that coming? Yeah. Once it starts rolling, man, I can't stop it. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, no way. Seriously? So she died in order to save him. So she died before she contracted the disease. Whoa. Damn. This is the would you live out your life to stop the suffering? Oh, wow. Wait, what's going on? Whoa. Whoa. Interesting. Well, I think that's just proof right there. What's with the ground? Oh, yeah. Is that just the design, or? It might be, but... A stand that basically has a read on fate, you know? Right. And if fate is an actual, like, mechanism in the world of JoJo's. Whoa! Whoa! Nice. Just sending them out there. But the fact that we're seeing this now after all of the other stuff has happened, yeah, like... Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, but he was climbing the stairs, so... Right. Oh, crap. Yeah, and if he touches it... Oh my god. Oh my gosh. What kind of shape is it changing to? No, it just reforms itself. Yeah, there's no way it would be that easy. Okay. Oh crap, what happens if a stand touches it though? Oh. Okay, okay.
早く下へこのマンションから出てなるべく遠くへやばいこの階段は
Stairs are always dangerous in JoJo's. Yeah.
その階段で下へ行くのはまずいミスター
Oh. Oh, crap.
しまった上だブチャラティ
Dodge, dodge, dodge. Oh! Oh, nice! Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, come on, Mista! Come on! Come on!
ミスターこのまま地面に叩きつければ
Oh, no way!
come on.
Wait!
Oh my god. Mista, you are crazy!
自分の姿が石に彫られてねえってなら
Wow.
時期ではないってなさっきからお前の
Fugo's just like,
Yeah.
what the hell, man?
一体この石は何だったのだ例の花屋の娘の死彫刻家が犯人のようなでもほとんど犯人
Yeah.
ねえブチャラティ俺が涙目のルカの調査やりますよいやお前の説明を聞くより調査の方が
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
花屋の親父にどう説明すればいいかミスタからよく聞いといてくれブチャラティあんたのためなら何でもするがこいつの話僕に理解できるかな
Do anything for you.
Yeah.
Not quite.
逆らわずにローリングストーンズを受け入れれば安楽我々は皆
Oh no.
Wait.
It switched to the 3 that died because of Bruno changing to be the one that went to go investigate the leaky-eyed Luca situation.
彼らがこれから歩む苦難の道には
Wow. Oh.
彼らの苦難がどこかの誰かに希望として
Yeah.
大いなる意味となる
Yeah, Giorno's dream basically, being made possible by,
眠れる奴隷であることを祈る
oh,
目覚めることで何か意味のあることを切り開いていく眠れると
oh, and they all found
Yeah.
it in the
Yeah.
in their final moments.
おっと気ぃつけなトリッシュ
ありがとう。何かが急に足元に。
Oh.
おいトリッシュ
Wait.
どこだトリッシュ
What?
トリッシュおいチョルノどこだトリッシュは私を置いていくな君らに置いていかれたらここからコロッセオまでだって何日かかるかわからない
Wait.
おポルナレフか
Wait, wait.
ポルナレフさん
Whoa, okay, okay.
俺の肉体はすでに死んだよだが魂が吸い出された瞬間この亀のスタンドにしがみつくことができたないが幽霊としてしばらく住まわせて
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
What? What?
Wait, what?
いや終わりおめえの言う通りだと思ってよ俺やっぱり変な匂い
なんかあの時変なこと言っちゃったけど、
Oh.
必死だったせいか別に気にならなくなったわ。
Oh, love me, mister.
Oh, mister.
ええ、でも変な指。
去ってしまった者たちから受け継いだものは
Oh, it's his theme,
さらに先に
but it's more dramatic and
Yeah,
Slower.
sad and
それでなそれが生き残った者の役目だ
oh.
what if you
that's
stabbed
it?
What if you stabbed the key for the tortoise's stand with the arrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's the freaking stone.
Oh my gosh. But they're also all formed in the statue here. These are all the images of those that died.
Well,
Or is it? No.
join us, modern crusaders alive.
Well, actually,
this
no,
set
no.
of statues though does look very different.
It looks actually quite similar, if anything. If anything, it feels like it's just the stands. But I think it's always been just the stands. But the thing is that when we get to the top, these are all the. This is the foundation upon which then Gold Experience at the top would basically then have a hand on controlling fate, you know? Yeah. So all these...
I don't know.
Zabakio, stand,
Aerosmith.
Stand, Bruno's stand.
Yeah, Sticky Fingers.
Oh,
yeah, King Crimson. Okay, Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols is there.
Sex Pistols
the
and
thing.
Spice
It's
Girl.
not-
Okay.
Yeah. But it's the one who would basically end up being the, you know, the
Yeah.
one to stand above them all. Is it now Gold Experience Requiem?
I'll bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Wow. Okay, that's it. Oh, end credit scene. What do we got here? Back to the start. Oh.
Yeah. They ruled the organization now, or
Yeah.
Filner specifically.
Whoa. Dang. Oh my god.
All right.
Good stuff. Wow. There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Okay.
it, y'all.
That's JoJo's.
That's all, folks. You know, that's the end of JoJo's Part 5. Not the end of the series. There's plenty more that could be adapted, which means at some point we'll return to this bizarre, crazy world.
Wonderful show. But
And yet, this is probably the end of, at least for now, like, because they seem to be doing more like continuous stuff within the whole universe by bringing in, you know, Jotaro and Koichi into Part 5. But Giorno is now the boss of Passione.
yeah,
Mista and Trish
are alive.
alive. Polnareff is a turtle, a tortoise.
Yep. Which
And-
I love that. Like
Yeah.
that was one of those things where it was like it was too good to pass out. But but of course, even though he's still here,
But
everyone else is gone.
everyone else is gone. And they brought up this kind of episode 0 beginnings kind of thing with regards to Mista encountering a strange stand user that has like a stand that just kind of does things, you know, subconsciously, and it's more of a predictor type stand where it like sees the future, reads the lines of fate or what have you, and then sculpts out the face or image of someone who's going to die.
Right.
And then he knows that if they touch the stone, the person that's sculpted there, they then can immediately die
With no pain.
Right,
So, which is a cool sort of like question decision sort of thing, you know.
Right, but what I find interesting here is that, you know, because Mista is, you know, he's a baka, but also because in some ways I don't think he wants to believe this guy. He ends up resisting this whole thing, which leads to a situation where they change their mind, and because oh, wait a minute. I think
changed fate.
I think, yeah, but I think what, you know, it's kind of like the whole thing. If you look at the future, it changes because you looked at it.
Right.
What I think happened here was Mista was not necessarily supposed to see this. This is just an instance where because Mista engaged with this Bruno was then eventually going to be put on a path where he would then probably try to resist or try to supplant Passione, and then he would die alone, being the only person who would be, you know, trying to stop them there, and his whole thing would fail.
I think I know what it was.
Okay, let me finish this whole thing here. But because Bruno switched and ended up looking to Leaky-Eyed Luca's situation, he bumped into Giorno, who then was the catalyst for the whole thing to work about, which led to the story happening. But because it changed, Bruno, Abbacchio, and Narancia all were then fated to die because this whole thing was leading towards an actual, like, you know, an actual success with regards to Buccellati's dream, Giorno's dream. Yeah. Wow.
I think that was when Bruno did die. And Giorno brought him back. And that whole thing, because it was a hole in his chest, right? You know, with you know, blood and everything, right?
Yep.
That was when Diavolo killed him.
Yep.
But because fate was changed in this small way, they met Giorno. Because they met Giorno, Bruno didn't stay dead there.
Oh,
you know, but because
cool.
that happened,
so
the others died too.
Right. So what we can get into here is that fate is something that was thematically appropriate for this arc of JoJo's, because there was a lot of things with regards to the idea of gods, humans, devils, and all that, and then defying fate, resisting fate, and all that. It fits with regards to that, but also the idea that Giorno's stand became so powerful, not only in ways it kind of had the capacity to defy fate a little bit by bringing someone back from the dead, but it couldn't necessarily supplant fate until it became Gold Experience Requiem. When that happened, though, fate then in some ways took a hold of the stand itself and made it something that Giorno was actually then no longer in control of. It became so powerful, it became like integral to the laws of fate. It became the judge, it became a god of fate, and if anything, it put those that stood against Giorno, who then is like a vessel of fate itself, you know, banished them to the eternal punishment of that. So Giorno ascends to godhood, you know, as the son of God, you know, and all that whole thing there. And Mista, because of the way he showed that first little act of resistance, he has to bear in some ways a little bit of the burden of kind of setting them on this path. He didn't necessarily know that he was setting them on this path, but it was his heart for his friends, his desire to, in some ways, show that little bit of what Bruno maybe inspired in him to, no, I'm not just going to accept fate and roll over. No,
definitely
no,
not.
I'm going to fight back. Was that the right choice? Who knows? But that's the thing. You can't know.
Diavolo wouldn't have been stopped if they didn't.
But yes, you know, that's like, the point, though, is that you could argue that it doesn't really matter whether Diavolo was stopped or not in the grand scheme of things, because they were going to be fine no matter what, you know, happened there.
Sure, the world keeps turning.
The world keeps turning, but they would have all been together for a good chunk of time. But at some point, Bruno still would have died. Because his face was in the stone. So there was some world eventually going to happen where Bruno either resisted or went against Passione or something like that, and just died.
And everyone made those choices, right? I don't think any of them would have regretted those decisions.
Yeah, even Fugo maybe in some ways, like
but that's what happened, right? And was it worth it? You know,
it's the wrong question, right?
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, how could it ever be worth it? And yet they decided it was worth it. You know, so
it's something kind of special to kind of go into a little bit, because when you think about fiction and you think about characters making these kinds of decisions where you go, I'm not so sure about that decision. You realize, well, you don't actually know these people. You don't know these people. These are fictional characters that you might still be discovering at the time. So when you have momentous parts in the story, like in part 5 specifically, where the boat scene, you know, they're specifically making all the decision are they going to resist fate, or are they going to, you know, stay together as a group?
Yep.
Fugo survived because he decided, no, I'm not going to deviate from my current course. I'm going to stay on there, and because of that, he lived.
He made the smart decision.
He made this decision based on what would lead to his best chances of survival.
Yep.
Was smart in that regard. All the other characters, though, because maybe in some ways they had that little aspect of themselves that made it so they had to make that decision, brings up that lovely question that I think all of us kind of hate to bring up, which is, the only reason why we believe that there's free will is because our perception is so limited with regards to how much stimuli and influence are in our environments that we just kind of assume in some ways that, no, even if you came down to it, that most of it was environmental influences, there's a small percentage of willpower involved.
But who's to say that that's, you know, I mean, that willpower isn't just a sum of electrical impulses from the brain, which is determined based on biology and things like that, you know, can all be traced down to, like, even if you don't know all the variables behind it, there are just a sum of variables behind it. Maybe that's all it is. Who knows?
Who knows? And that's something that I think that it's not really worth exploring as much, because it doesn't lead to any natural conclusions of which you can act upon.
It's like, okay, cool. That, your life is still the, you know, the life that you have. What are you going to do about that?
Right. If anything, just knowing that you can find a piece in that there are forces at work that are going to lead to a lot of things that you won't have any control over, and just knowing that, hey, you know, just because you don't have control over something doesn't mean that your life is something that's not worth living or something. So we're in this situation now where, you know, Mista and Bruno and Trish. Did I say Bruno? Mista, Giorno, and Trish and Polnareff are all going to basically lead this section of the world in a new direction.
And I am so glad that Polnareff at least is still here. It makes a lot of sense in my mind that Mista is the one to survive from the original squad.
The paranoid, bad luck.
Well, yes, that
one
too.
Who shoots first, asks questions later.
Right, and I was very much looking to see if there was any kind of, like, or whatever with the whole situation with the stone of, like, was there some bad luck thing potentially that could have been there, even though he didn't see the faces of the others, you know, in the ground afterwards, so he wouldn't have made the connection.
That's true.
But
That's true.
But also looking back on part 5, I feel like Mista, of all of them, other than Bruno, really, Mista was the one who got the most focus, like more than Abacchio, a little bit more than Narancia, definitely more than Fugo, you know, but even before, like, Fugo left.
Sure.
And also with Giorno specifically, it always seemed to be Mista and Giorno.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Like sometimes Bucciolati, but like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, but I'm really curious. I'd love to get into an interview with Araki and understand why he chose this as the ending, though. Yeah. Because I think there's some things that are pretty straightforward as how they present it here. Is like, okay, that is why. But why did he choose that as opposed to anything else? Because I see why you chose this, but that doesn't tell me necessarily why you chose why you didn't choose something else.
Right. From a meta perspective, some of the things that happen can seem kind of arbitrary. From within the details of the story with all the things that have happened, it totally makes sense. That's how it ends, right? They're the people that are left alive, you know, and Giorno now, you know, leads Passione and everything.
Right.
But, like, why Mista specifically? You know, was that just because his death wouldn't have had the same emotional impact as, you know, Bruno's or Narancia's, or, you know, or, like, you know, what was sort of the logic?
What do you mean, why Mista, though? Are you meaning why Mista was even the focus of this part of the story?
No. Yeah, he's the only one left alive, so of course he'd be the focus of this part of the story, right?
Well, what do you mean he's the only one left alive of the crew that before Giorno and Trish joined along? Yeah. Oh, but Fugo's alive.
No, but he left. He's gone. You know, he decided to part ways, right? You know, they didn't even show him at the end with the when the Passione Capos. Well, of course he's not a capo.
Oh, but, okay.
You know,
so if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that he's in some ways, because he was the one that observed fate, he's now the only survivor of the original crew, and that's kind of like his punishment for that? Or
No. I'm talking about from the perspective of Araki writing the story, right?
Okay.
Araki at some point decided, all right, these are the characters I'm going to kill off: Bruno, Narancia, you know, and Abakio, and the decisions made sense for them to be the ones to die for emotional reasons because of their stands. So it makes sense for those to be the ones to be targeted and things like that. All that stuff, right? Good stuff. But was there a particular reason why Araki wanted Mista to be one that survived? Or was that just sort of a discovered thing that happened as a result of all the other ones being the ones that made sense to be removed?
You could say it was fated.
Sure,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move a little bit out of the meta side of things there, because I don't really have anything more to really discuss if I don't actually have a legit like interview with Araki. That's what I'm kind of bringing up here. I'm just wondering, with Mista being the one that, like you're saying, he's the one that's here. He's the one that's here of that group. None of the others are here.
Right.
What's the theme message that they're trying to bring up here? Is it regarding determinism, or is it something with just a simple bit of those people, because they bumped into someone with a grand hold on fate, someone that fate had chosen to be this great individual. Giorno sweeps them up in that river of fate, and Mista was just in some ways the lucky one in that he gets to be here at the end of it all, and his friends are just the ones that were fated to die.
Here's a crazy thing if you think about it.
Okay.
If you don't count Fugo, right?
Okay.
Which is okay, but Fugo decided to not go along with them. You don't count Fugo.
Right.
And you don't count Giorno, and you don't count Giorno or Trish, but of the original people, discounting Fugo, there's 4 of them. Like of the 3 that died, Mista and Fugo, if you don't count Fugo.
I just don't know why we're not counting Fugo. Just
because he left, you know.
Well, right, but he was still a member of the groups. So when they were there, they were all 5.
Yeah, but later it got to a point where there was 4 of the original people left.
Right. I guess, yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
the fact that there could be a way to look at it so that there's 4 of them, and that it was Mista's unlucky number, and that Mista is the one that actually ended up being fine from the 4 of them. That seems interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were going to go for the idea that 4 of the crew left.
Oh, sure.
Because see, I feel like with numerology and things like that, you can pull numbers out of your ass to make any kind of picture you want.
Mess around with it enough, and you can prove anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like at this point here, we've hit a true kind of ascendance for a JoBro member that has never really happened in JoJo's before.
Yeah.
Josuke didn't necessarily transcend the state of the issue there.
Star Platinum was kind of close, but
right, yeah. But within Part 4, there was no grand thing of fate with regards to the protagonist. It was the antagonist that was fated to die.
Right, the justice of those here, yeah.
Right, and then with Jotaro, he was fated to end the encounter with Dio because of the lineage aspect. His stand was unknowingly a mirror of the world. Right. So when they ended up encountering each other, it felt like fate. This was something that was that was over 100 years coming.
Right, the one to end it all will be Star Platinum. Yeah.
Right. So if Part 5 is basically saying, hey, Araki has looked at the story as a whole and has realized that he wanted to draw a thematic, powerful message with regards to fate and how it has guided so much of this story and this world to this conclusion. It feels like something where Bruno I keep saying Bruno, but I mean to say Giorno has ascended to that point above even fate itself. There is no other character in the story thus far that has gotten to his point, to the apex of what you can do with a stand, to what
the closest thing
to the power that he has in the world right now by being the leader of Passione. If they have like if they have any, you know, story that even remotely ties into him going forward, I really have some like weird theories about how he would be viewed at that point.
Oh,
Because he is in some ways almost at the level of a demigod.
Well, certainly as far as the stand goes, like,
but like if anyone attacks him, if anyone
it
tries to
just doesn't
stand in the
work.
way of his dream,
nope.
they will be
Does not work.
They will be removed from the causal flow of
Yep.
of everything.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. Not that it would have much focus in the story, probably, but like whatever he does with Passione, right?
Sure.
Because there's the dream, there's the ideal, there's the desire, and then there's what ends up actually happening, right? I don't think those will be too far off, but I'm curious to see where it would end up going.
Right.
And then, given that Polnareff's still with them, if there ever was a secondary encounter with, you know, maybe not Koichi because he doesn't know Polnareff, but like
Right.
Jotaro, for instance, right? Even though I don't think they ever actually met. If there would be some crazy interaction as a result of the fact that Polnareff would be there as sort of someone to bridge the gap.
Sure. I could see, if anything, them doing something where the fate aspect of this is that the bloodline of Dio and the bloodline of the Joestars is basically going to do another build-up towards another reconvergence.
Another convergence, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that.
Because Giorno has every reason to be a powerful influence on the Earth as of where he is right now. And because of the whole thing of fate and his stand being so powerful, what I think, if anything, will happen is that we'll eventually get to another Requiem stand being
Oh, for sure.
unlocked, but it being, instead of, the son of,
son of
Giorno
Dio.
or something
Oh,
like that. It'll be like another family member along the Joestar side of things.
Sure.
Or a completely different character entirely, like someone completely random.
That's actually something that I'm kind of curious about, and I'm wondering what you think about this. Given the fact that they've now gone the Dio angle, like that offshoot, right, as a way to still have it be a JoJo, right?
Yes.
And they've gone the Jotaro angle, they've gone the Joseph's illegitimate child angle. What is the next angle for the next JoJo? Because like
I have no idea. I feel like this part broke the mold so much that it's Araki. Like, actually, I feel like actually, if you look at the part holistically, you can kind of get inside the head of Araki pretty well. He realized the limitations he had put on himself once he finished part 4, and he's like, screw that. I have so many other ways I can take this story.
Sure.
Dio's son with one of the women that he took over the time in Egypt and what have you, and
there you go.
Italian, gang wars in this whole thing there. Let's also go with some kind of a spiritual fate angle, and there you go.
And one of the things that
and then also the Stand Arrow stuff in general,
And one of the things that also circumvents is the issue of getting too far into the future. That Araki has kind of made it so that each part has successively been less of a time skip. And in this one of the ways that it circumvented that issue is by having it be in a different place with entirely different characters, right? So that way the time skip doesn't need to be very much, right? In part 4, it was, Josuke was growing up while the previous stuff was going on as well, right? And so Jotaro, it's like, okay, he's a little bit older, but he's not Joseph level old man, right? For the next one, and the whole thing with Dio, that was something where I didn't expect it, but once it happened, it was like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense, right? That is a connection that's there. I have no idea what it would be for the 6th one, though. If it was going to be something else that was also very different, or maybe at this point it's like, okay, Araki took that little break and then he can jump back to the original sort of Jonathan Joseph Jotaro line or something like that. I don't know.
I think that eventually he has to go back to the Joestars in general. But what might just be the thing here is that it's this is actually going to be more about opening up the world of JoJo's. And then
Sure.
When we go back to, you know, kind of direct kind of lineage stuff, it's going to be more of a thing where the world is more populated with characters that we care about and are invested in addition to things regarding just the literal Joestar convoluted bloodline that it is.
Araki's done plenty of depth with regards to the Joestar bloodline. Doing some breadth now isn't a problem. Like,
in some ways it's kind of nice because now stands are no longer an end within itself. We have the Arrow's origins, the aliens that, you know, the alien whatever that kind of brought it here. We have the history within that. There's ways in which, you know, in some ways, Araki could go backwards actually a little bit if he wanted to.
Sure.
Because there's some unexplored territory there.
Yeah, watch, we end up going back to, like, I don't know, the cousin or the brother or sibling or whatever of George Joestar way back at the very beginning, because you know Araki has done the whole thing of going back to the beginning, so maybe he'll go back even further.
Right, it could just be a weird offshoot of the Joestar line that went diagonally from somewhere near the beginning or something.
Yeah,
but
Speedwagon's descendant. That would be wonderful. I would be very down for that.
But you know, Speedwagon never married.
That's right. No one could possibly deserve Speedwagon.
No. But I would say that Araki, the one thing that I think that this part has that it surpasses all the other parts in a story character way was I believed this family so much.
Yep, me too.
And I think that in some ways you still haven't reached your peak with regards to that. You could have gone even more into it here and just continue to blow our minds. But the fact that I think the final episodes are focused on that family and realizing just the path they're going on might have this grander purpose, even though they're a bunch of kind of nobodies, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It feels really impactful to know that some of those characters will be able to kind of look back on things and go, yeah. This is important. This is special. So, yeah, we'll miss them, and we'll miss JoJo's.
Yeah.
Wow. Here we are. So, y'all, we finished the poll, and Noragami will be the next show on our Saturday slot. So, looking forward to seeing you in the reactions for those. If you want to see the first episode's reaction to Noragami right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. Sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. I wrote it. If you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.